Hello and welcome. My name is David Baker. Glad you could be here for this morning coffee and talk about homeschool. My background, I was born here, grew up in Santa Fe. When I was 12, my dad's company sold, and where he worked at DuPont. We had to move to Iowa. And then after that, college, military, then college, and we moved back here 30 years ago. Never planned on being in politics, but I feel like this is what God wants me to do, to run for county mayor, and so I am. The very first week, there was some people that I met with, and we met right here, one of the county commissioners and a good friend. And when I was leaving, walking out to my vehicle, and I just got some cards printed. They didn't even have the backs done, got them done in Office Max, and my other ones were waiting to come in. And I'm still nervous about this, but I was like, okay, I got to start talking to people. So as I'm walking out, I gave a card to a couple of ladies right out here. Hey, I'm running for county mayor. And they looked at it and said, all right, got one question, okay? What do you think about homeschooling? I said, I love it. I have 11 children. We've homeschooled all of them. They said, all right, that's great. That's all I need. I just want to make sure there's going to be somebody in the mayor's office who's going to protect our right to teach our own children. And I totally agree. So that's how I got started. I grew up in Iowa. My wife grew up in Ohio, and they were big time fights for education. Christian schools, homeschools. I know people in Iowa that were jailed for that. My wife went to rallies at the state house in Columbus. They load them up on the buses in the Christian school and go and fight for that. And so now we'd like to expand it. So here's the problem in our county. The growth, okay? We are growing exponentially. They have already approved 15,000, okay? 15,000 lots to build houses on. Not 1,500, 15,000, with new subdivisions coming up before the planning commissions all the time. And so if those households only have one child, okay? If they only have one child, that's 15,000 new kids in our school. We only have 12 to 13,000 in our school right now. That would more than double all the schools. We have 24 public schools in our county. Could you imagine having to build another 20-some schools, what that's going to be? The price tag for those schools, the small ones are coming in at $30 million a pop. The big ones are coming in at over $100 million. The new Battle Creek school, over $100 million, a price tag for that. And of course, they're just going up. So the debt for our county, we have $310 million of debt in our county right now, $310 million. The budget director told me 96% of that is school. 96% of that is school debt. We have a problem. And so with those 15,000 lots already approved, what could that do? The school board said they look at homes as 4 or 0.41 children per household. So half, but I think they're looking at all the houses in Maury County. The state, Scott Spicky said the state looks at it at new 1.3 children per household. I met with Jim Bailey, the former mayor here, and he said our number on new construction was always 2.5, because new construction is usually where you're going to have the families that have the children. Whatever number that is, if it's just one per household, you can see what that does. And it is a mess. And so the potential problems just financially for the county to be able to build 10 new schools or 20 new schools, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. And literally, if it's an average there, if you have to build 20 schools, it's over $1 billion. And what the county does is the county schools have to, by law, have to educate them, and the county commission has to pay for that. And the only way, the biggest way they fund is through property tax. So that means property tax just goes up and up and up and up. And we don't want that. So homeschooling, I've got here 10 reasons, my top 10 of why we homeschool our children and how good it's been. I've looked at some websites. They literally have 101 reasons why you want to homeschool your child, okay? And I'm sure you have great reasons of why you do, but this is for me why we did. Not in any order here, but better education, okay? On a whole, homeschoolers test better, SAT, ACT, college, they get a better education. Better relationship with your children. We are close to our kids, and homeschooling them has been one of the biggest things. Protecting their mind from the garbage that's out there. The Bible said the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And so protecting their minds from that. Protecting their bodies from school shootings. Those things happen. And honestly, they say if somebody wants to do it, they can't protect it. You have one SRO officer in the school, find out where he is, go to the other place and start. Even if they have the rapid response time, it's still horribly dangerous for our children. So protecting them from their bodies from shooting, protecting their soul. Their soul is their mind, their will, their emotion from the bullying that happens. I've met so many families since I started running that said, we pulled our kids out of the public school because of bullying. Because of bullying. It's horrible. What a child has to go through to do that. And I've got a book coming that deals with that. And when we looked it all up, we've got 10 different articles from the left Huffington Post to the right-wing Christian to in the middle.gov. All of them say the bullying programs don't work because they all include telling an authority. And when you're bullied and now you tell an authority, now what happens? Okay, now you're dead meat. And so it doesn't work. Protecting their soul from bullying. Better prepared to enter the world. Okay, I believe a homeschooler is better prepared to enter the world because of all the things we can teach and train and prepare them for. Then we're protecting our kids from drugs. I'm the chaplain at the county jail, and I've done that either volunteer or as a full-time chaplain for 28 years. And when I ask guys, when did you get started in drugs? The youngest I found was 6. I've had many 8-year-olds, and the average is 12 to 13. 12 to 13 of all the guys in jail. By the way, I heard Chair say the other day, over 95% of all the people in jail is alcohol and drug related. Boy, if we could fix that, what could that do? The schools are the #1 budget issue in our county. The jail is the #2 budget item in our county. Boy, what could we do to say financially if we could fix those 2 things? What a big deal that would be. So protect our kids from drugs. The awesome flexibility because you get to direct your child's education. Hey, we're going to a field trip today. We're going to a museum today. We're going to Nashville today. We're going to the library today. The awesome flexibility for what you need to do to teach your children. Protect them from negative influences. It's always a who that messes our kids up. It's not a what. Technically, it's not alcohol and drugs that mess our kids up. It's the person that gave it to them. Ask the guys all the time, all right, how old were you when we got started and where'd you get it? Friend, neighbor, brother, family. Protect our kids from that. When you have them at home, you have such a better opportunity to protect and to know what's going on. It's always a who. The Bible says, you did run well. Who hath hindered you that you should not obey the truth? And then the last thing I have is sibling relationships. Our children's best friend are their brother and sister. It's always been that way. The closeness that it brings by being able to work and play and go to school together has been great. So need your help, any ideas you have, any thoughts you have, and what I want to do, okay, I want to help other people to be able to have the experience of this. My background is education. I've got a master's degree in education and school administration. My wife has a master's degree in education in secondary ed, teaching fields in English and music. And that's our background. When we say we homeschool our children, oh yeah, you're qualified for that. I believe any parent can be qualified to teach their child. And so what we need are people and groups to be able to help that. So co-ops like this, people that are connected, people who can help teach people and take them under their wing when someone decides, hey, I want to homeschool, or when someone just wants to talk to somebody to alleviate their fears. I need people here who are willing to say, hey, I'll do that. Have them call me, have them text me. I'd love to talk to them, give them my experience of what you've been through, the blessings it's been for you, the top 10 reasons for you why you've enjoyed and why homeschooling has been good for you. So co-ops, teaching tools, what the best umbrellas are to go under. What umbrellas you go under? Again, our situation is different. We had a Christian school, and we ran the Christian school, and both of our degrees are in education. And people, we don't want them to say, "Oh yeah, I just can't do that." And so I need, quote, normal people, real people who are doing it successfully, enjoying it, and to help people. So the best umbrellas to go under helps when someone's making the decision, helps when they're actually doing it, and then other homeschool groups. It'd be great to have homeschool groups in every community, in Hampshire, in Santa Fe, and multiple ones in Columbia, Mount Pleasant, Spring Hill, Culleoka. Homeschool groups that can get together to be able to learn and grow and help when people have questions. Would love that. Okay. Also to help with objections, music. What about music? Our family's big into music. My wife teaches piano, and I've got kids that play cello, violin, piano, sing, and big into music. A lot of people don't have that. There's a homeschool choir that's here for people to be involved in. That kind of stuff is awesome. What about the arts? Okay, what is the best way to teach the kids the arts? And there's a lot, I believe, even more for a homeschooler than even a public school. What about sports? Okay, what about sports? For people who want to do sports, how can we do that? And some of it you can say attached to the public school in those areas if you want to. You don't have to. Some people are anathema. No, I don't want to even look at a public school, and that's fine. But you could be like Tim Tebow, homeschool, but still do football, because that influence then is not going to be 8 hours a day. It's going to be an hour or two. And as you saw, Tim Tebow was a bigger influence on them than they were to him, and that can be done. What about sports? I asked the people I met with, school board and budget director, are homeschoolers allowed to be a part of public schools? And they said, yes, they are by law. We pay taxes, so if there's something in the public school that you want to take advantage of, you can. The big objection, what about social skills? Okay, they're gonna be awkward, are they gonna be weird? When people meet our kids, they're like, you were homeschooled? You're not weird. I don't know how people got that mindset. The homeschoolers I've met, most of them are not. I just met one of the city councilmen, and he grew up homeschooled, and of course normal people. So I don't know how many of you saw the Kirk Cameron's Homeschool Revolution. I tried to see it, but it was only 2 days and it was already full. But somehow I'm going to get that. I want to watch that. What I'd like to do to help Maury County with is to have a Maury County Homeschool Revolution. A Maury County Homeschool Revolution. Why? For all those 10 reasons there, and on the being the county mayor side, financially, to be able to help us. I met with the county budget director, and I met with the school board president, and asked them, does homeschooling hurt the public school? And I was shocked. I just knew they'd say yes, because we don't get the money if they keep the kids at home. I just knew they would say that. Both of them said no. I said, really? Both of them said no. I said, why? I said, it doesn't affect us. We don't get their money, but we don't spend any money to teach them, so it's no effect. They do not hurt us. It's just like somebody that didn't move to the county. If they did move to the county, does that affect our school? No. It doesn't cost us any money, but we're not spending any money. And I'm glad they had that, because sometimes there's an adversarial relationship between homeschoolers and public school, and by the school board president and the budget director, we didn't have that, and that was good. And so, running for mayor of Maury County, I would like to be able to help financially, because that affects all of us, okay? Property taxes, I don't know if you heard, they're going up, okay? And why are they going up? The biggest reason, because of the schools, okay? That's the biggest reason. It's the #1 budget item, okay? Jail second, and we have to build new schools, and they're doing that by debt, okay? And so that's the #1 thing. How about if we could help the county? If homeschoolers could help the county? How about if we had enough homeschoolers to homeschool their children so we didn't have to build the new schools? That's amazing. Averaging, they said, over the last couple of years, homeschooling has gone up 10%. Why? Because with COVID, a lot of people saw what their kids were being taught, like, no, I don't want that. Or they enjoyed having their kids around and said, you know, we could do this, and I want that. And so it's gone up. That's without any organization, any help, any prep, or anything. What would happen if we decided, hey, let's help them. Let's have a plan. Let's have a purpose. Let's have some teachers that were assets to be able to say, if you got a question, call. I can help you through that on the educational level. What if homeschoolers could help the county by not having to build new schools, by not having to raise the property tax, by not having to go into debt, and for the ones that want to, help the schools to get more money? This is not for every homeschooler, and most homeschoolers don't care about that, and many have an adversarial relationship with the schools, and that's totally fine. But some say, you know what, I don't know physics, and I don't want to teach my kid physics, but man, if they could take physics at the school, hey, I'd be for that. Or band. Most of the schools right here have a good band. I want them to learn how to play the French horn or the trombone or the trumpet or something like that, and they can be a part of that, or to be a part of sports. I've asked 4 different experts, and none of them have been able to tell me yet, how much does a homeschooler have to be a part of the school system to where the school can get the funds for that. Right now, parents can't. I think that should be different. But so how much did they have to be a part where the school could get the money? What a blessing if we could help the schools, which is going to help our county property tax, okay, and help our debt. So it's not just helping the schools, but it's helping us not to have to raise the money, not to have to borrow the money to be able to have those schools. And so there's also a virtual academy. I don't know if anybody's seen that. I'm looking more into that and going to meet with the people in charge of it. Virtual academy, that when someone's hooked up to that, then the school would get the money for that. It helps your education. You can still do it at home. It's quote accredited, but also then we don't have to have the debt because you're not having to put people into that, and the school can still get the money for that. I have a book that I wrote on how Christians can save America. And one of the chapters in there talks about, to me, the most important thing we can do for the future of our country. This is longer to go into, but being able to eventually have total parental direction on our children's education, where the monies does not go to a school or a government or the state. The money goes to the parent deciding where we want to educate our children. I want them to go to this charter school, this private school, this public school, this Christian school, or this homeschool, and the monies go to wherever you direct it, because you know your child best. You know what they need. I want my child in vocational school. I want them in an art school. I want them in college prep school. I want them in this, and to diversify that enough where you get to decide where your child goes to school to make sure they get a great education. I know we're far away from that. There are school choice things that are out there. Even in Tennessee, they're working on some. And I know the fear of that. Believe me, I understand. Once the government gets in charge, and what do? They try to control that, okay? I'm not in charge of this at all, but I would want to make it so strong, like an amendment in the Constitution, in the state Constitution, that says they cannot come and tell us in our schools, our homes, what we can do. And I understand the fear of that because so much government is control. But it would be great if every parent had the option that they could decide where their child goes to school and have the funds to pay for that. People say, oh, that would never happen. I understand that, but answer these two questions for me. One is, whose children are they? Ours. Number two, whose money is it? Ours. So why couldn't it be that way? Well, no, the government would never go for that. Hold on, whose children are they? Ours. Whose money is it? Ours. What happened if every parent decided, sorry, my kids and my money, and there was a revolution? Not violent, okay? But it's just parents said, I'm done, not putting up with that. I'm not going to let the government decide what my kids are being taught, where they're being taught, how they're being taught. They're my children, and it's our money. There could be a revolution of parents deciding this is what we want. And we would, revolution meaning we would vote for the people who would make those things happen, okay? Please understand the definition of revolution in this context. Just like Kirk was talking about, a homeschooling revolution to revolutionize education. And homeschool, I think, would be a great job for that. And so, anyway, those are the thoughts. So, biggest takeaways from here for you. Any questions you have, any problems you have, feel free. davidbakerformayor@gmail.com, or you can call me 931-797-1816 if you have any questions. But the helps for you, co-ops like this, to be able to help new families, new moms, new parents, to be able to homeschool their children, okay? That help, that support, if someone is even just thinking about it and they have fears and people told them, oh no, don't do that. Talking to real people who have been homeschooling their children for a year or 2 or 10 can help alleviate those fears so they can cross over and say, you know what, I want to take charge of my child's education. Those are the kind of things that we want and that I would love to have your help with. So let me know if you have any questions. We'd love to work together to be able to help Maury County to have the best education and to not have all the debt of new schools that they're going to have to build if we keep going the way that we're going. I think there's a whole lot better way, and I think homeschooling has a great opportunity to provide some of those answers, okay? Thank you for coming. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.